Welcome back to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? You're in, say, a crucial meeting or maybe listening to an important lecture, or heck, even just trying to follow a complex deep dive like this one, and suddenly, poof, your mind drifts. You miss a key detail and that little moment of panic sets in. It's like hitting a mental speed bump, isn't it? And suddenly the whole conversation feels like it's just speeding away from you. So today we're taking a deep dive into something genuinely uh, game-changing, I think. How to really sharpen your auditory focus. How to keep your cool, even when the information is dense or coming at you like super fast. We've gathered some incredible insights from experts in really high-stakes listening situations. Think of this as your shortcut to becoming a more effective, more confident listener, unlocking your brain to full potential for truly absorbing what you hear.
Oh, absolutely. It's an experience we all share, isn't it? That slight drift, that moment of, wait, what did they say? And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is that the underlying challenge of effective listening, well, it's universal. Doesn't matter if it's for work or learning something new or honestly, just feeling more present in daily life. This deep dive isn't just about, hearing. It's about shifting those oh no moments into aha insights. We'll explore some really practical methods that empower you to not just process sounds, but to truly understand and retain and maybe even anticipate spoken information.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our very first, maybe the most liberating truth about deep listening is this. You will not catch every single word. And actually, you shouldn't even try to. And here's the surprising part that's perfectly okay. In fact, trying to catch every word is like a huge waste of mental energy. The goal isn't to be a human transcription machine, right? It's about efficient extraction. You're trying to pull out the important bits, like a prospector panning for gold, not counting every grain of sand. So the core strategy here, like right out of the gate, is to focus on keywords. Imagine you're in a meeting and you know the key thing is the price. Your ear shouldn't be trying to capture and every little filler word. No, they're tuned like a laser pointer for a number. That's what you need. Or if it's about a project timeline, you're listening for dates. This deep dive suggests that getting distracted by all the extra stuff is the real enemy here. It's about being surgical with your attention, knowing what you need, and hunting for that.
Exactly, exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, I mean, this isn't just a practical hack, it's fundamental to how our brains operate. Did you know your brain processes like millions of bits of sensory data every second, but only about 50 bits, give or take, ever reach your conscious awareness? 50. So your brain is already a master filter. It has to be. By consciously focusing on keywords, you're not fighting that system. You're actually working with it. You're aligning with it. You're consciously directing your attention, turning what could be passive filtering into an active, precise extraction engine. This changes information overload from being a problem into, well, an opportunity for really selective focus. It's about working with your brain's natural design, not fighting against it.
That makes perfect sense. Working with the brain.
Hmm.
Okay, so we've talked about being selective with keywords, which is like setting your internal GPS.
Hmm.
But what happens when you take a wrong turn or your signal drops for a second? This is where it gets really interesting because this is about navigating the panic trap. One of the most fascinating things from our deep dive reveals how many of us just instinctively freeze
Mm.
when we miss something. We get stuck in this mental loop, right? Replaying, oh no, I missed it. I missed that point
Yeah.
in our heads. And while we're caught in that little mental replay booth,
Hmm.
The audio, the conversation, it just keeps moving forward. And we end up missing even more. It's this awful cycle that just spirals your focus right out of control. I mean, I've definitely been there. Someone says something, and for a split second, my brain just hears static. And the immediate impulse is to, like, mentally rewind. But the material suggests a much more powerful, if kind of counterintuitive solution. Just let it go. Skip the missed bit and immediately shift your focus to the next incoming piece of information. The advice is super clear. Your focus must stay on the present moment. You might be able to figure it out later from context maybe, but the crucial action in that moment of missing something is just drop it. Re-engage with what's happening now.
That's such a crucial point. And it leads directly to the question of, well, what's happening psychologically when we do miss something? Panicking. It doesn't just distract you from what's coming next. It actively gobbles up your cognitive bandwidth, your mental resources. Imagine your brain has a certain amount of processing power, like RAM on a computer. If you're using all that RAM to frantically rewind and replay a missed moment in your head, you've got nothing left to process the new information that's still streaming in. So the advice to let it go is really a profound exercise in mental discipline. It's tough but vital. It ensures that one single missed detail doesn't cascade, doesn't snowball into a complete loss of focus for everything that follows. It's about preserving your mental energy, right? Keeping yourself in an optimal state for understanding. Think about it. Not getting stuck on one confusing phrase in a really critical presentation means you can actually clear your mind and catch the next crucial point the speaker makes. It's a strategy for maintaining continuous, effective engagement, not letting one bump derail the whole train.
Absolutely. Continuous engagement. And that leads us nicely into building something vital. Listening stamina. Our deep dive reveals that effective listening, especially for longer periods, like, say, a 40-minute assessment or a really long, complex meeting, it requires stamina, real endurance. It's not a sprint for your ears and brain. It's much more like a marathon. And you wouldn't just show up and try to run a marathon without training, would you?
Of course not.
Well, the same applies to your listening muscles. So how do you build this kind of sustained concentration? How do you train for that listening marathon? The practice suggested is actually incredibly straightforward, but really powerful. Actively listen to English podcasts or news broadcasts without hitting pause. And this isn't just, having something on in the background while you do dishes. No. The key is active engagement. While you're listening, take notes of key words. Just like you would if your understanding truly depended on it, like in a test or that critical meeting. It's a deliberate, active exercise, a mental workout. And yeah, it might feel difficult at first, like any workout, right? But the research is encouraging. It suggests that after just maybe 2 weeks of consistent practice, you will notice your brain getting faster, sharper at processing spoken information. This isn't just about getting marginally better. It's about building genuine endurance for focus.
And what's really fascinating there scientifically is the idea of treating listening as a muscle that can genuinely be trained, developed. And that's the marvel of neuroplasticity, isn't it? It's not just a metaphor. You are literally physically remodeling your brain. It's amazing. Every time you consciously focus, engage with audio without pausing, you're strengthening those neural pathways, making them faster, more efficient, like upgrading a country lane into a multi-lane highway for sound processing. That consistent practice actually rewires your brain for better focus and retention. And the note-taking, that just amplifies it. It engages multiple senses, hearing, seeing, the physical act of writing. That creates stronger memory traces. So you're not just improving your listening, you're enhancing your brain's core processing capabilities across the board.
That's incredible. The idea that we can physically rewire our own brains just by practicing active listening.
Right.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered being selective with keywords.
Right.
Letting go of missed details without panicking.
Sure.
And building our listening stamina through practice. Now, let's talk about a truly proactive strategy. Practice active prediction. This is about getting ahead of the game. Essentially, prepping your brain for what's likely coming before the words are even spoken. Our deep dive gives a really clear, simple example. If a question on, say, a listening test says the lecture will start at, well, even before the recording plays.
Yeah.
You already know the answer is going to be a time. Your brain is primed, ready. It's like knowing the category in a game show before they even read the clue,
Exactly. Sets expectations.
And this simple active prediction, it has a huge benefit. When your brain predicts, it listens more actively. It's not just passively waiting for whatever comes along. No, it's actively searching for a specific type of information. And when your brain is in that active searching mode, your chances of catching the exact answer or the key detail you need, they just increase dramatically. It's like your brain has a mental checklist ready and it's just waiting to tick off that time box.
This takes us deeper into how our brains actually process information and build meaning. It's fascinating. Prediction isn't just, random guessing. It's more like building a mental scaffold, or a schema, as we call it in cognitive science. It gives your brain a ready-made structure to slot the new information into. If you know you're expecting a time, your time slot in that mental framework is already open and waiting, primed. This is a really sophisticated form of selective attention. It significantly boosts your receptiveness, your accuracy, and from a communication perspective, it also highlights how good speakers often signal what's coming next. They give cues, and as listeners, we can learn to pick up on those cues and leverage them by consciously predicting. It essentially prepares your whole cognitive system for optimal absorption, makes you a much more efficient learner, a more effective listener.
A mental scaffold. I like that image.
Yeah.
Building those structures beforehand. Okay. Finally, and this might be the most important piece of the puzzle maybe, the mental game. Stay confident. Our deep dive keeps reminding us that listening tests, or challenging listening situations in general, they're designed to test skills, not perfection. This is such a critical point. Even native speakers,
Experts in their own language, they can miss details when listening, especially if it's fast or complex or noisy.
Absolutely. Nobody catches everything all the time.
Right. So it's not about being flawless. It's about being effective, resilient. And this confidence, it isn't just some vague feel-good thing. No, it's a performance driver.
Yeah.
What's really clear from the material is this powerful synergy if you stay calm. If you use prediction, if you focus on keywords, you will not only understand more, but you'll also retain it more effectively. You'll perform better. The analogy used here is pretty compelling. Confidence is like fuel. It pushes you forward even when the road feels difficult.
That's a great analogy.
It really is the engine that keeps all these other strategies running smoothly, isn't it? It propels you forward even when you hit a tricky patch.
So what does this all mean for your overall approach? To any listening task, really, whether it's that huge work presentation or just trying to truly connect with a friend over coffee. Confidence isn't just a subjective feeling, it's a powerful performance enhancer. It truly is. When you genuinely believe in your ability to listen effectively, your anxiety naturally goes down. And when that anxiety recedes, your core cognitive functions, your focus, your memory, your analytical skills, they're freed up, they can operate at their peak. It creates this wonderful, virtuous cycle. Confidence leads to better listening performance, which in turn builds more confidence. It reinforces itself, that positive feedback loop. So approaching any listening task with a proactive, confident mindset, that can genuinely transform your engagement and your comprehension. It's about setting yourself up for success right from the very start, believing you can handle it.
Okay, so let's quickly summarize our golden tips from this deep dive into mastering your listening focus. Ready? First, if you miss an answer, miss a detail. Don't panic. Seriously, just move on. Let it go.
Let it go.
Second, train yourself. Focus only on the keywords, not every single word. Be selective.
Laser focus.
Third, build that concentration, that stamina. Listen to complex audio like podcasts or news without pausing every day. Treat it like a mental workout.
Build the muscle.
Fourth, be proactive. Predict the type of information you expect to hear before it even begins. Prepare that mental scaffold.
Get ahead of it.
And crucially, number 5, keep your confidence high. Because confidence isn't just a feeling, it's a genuine performance booster. It fuels everything else. Remember, these aren't just like test-taking tricks. These are life skills. They're designed to make you a more powerful, more perceptive, and honestly more present listener in every single aspect of your life.
And that raises, I think, an important question for you, the listener. How can you begin to apply these principles starting, well, today? Whether it's in that critical work meeting tomorrow, or a casual chat tonight, or maybe when you're trying to learn something totally new online. Training your ears, and, just as importantly, training your mind to stay calm and focused will fundamentally transform how you interact with information, how you interact with the world. Remember, true understanding, deep understanding, it comes not just from hearing the words passively drift by. It comes from actively, confidently engaging with the entire soundscape around you. So, train your ears every day. Stay calm when you stumble. And you will see your ability to absorb, process, and act on information rise dramatically. It really can unlock a whole new level of comprehension and connection.